program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to what seems to be quite a peaceful morning out here in the bush. We are on quarantine enjoying the view, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live. Welcome everyone. Like I said, we are choosing paths all the way up here on quarantine, which is this big open area. My name is Ali, and on camera with me today is Craig, aka Batman, and we are on the lookout for pretty much anything. Now, as we started driving this morning, we spotted some leopard footprints. So we're heading roughly in the direction where we saw the footprints, or the direction where they were going. And I think I heard something calling in the distance far south. Maybe sounded like a lion. So I think we're going to start investigating, see what the newspaper of the bush in the form of the road gives us today. Who's been where and doing what. And then we'll be able to find out. Now, I wonder if these tracks are gonna pop out again, or if this beloved cat has moved somewhere else. Let's see. It'll be quite good to see. And I think poor Byron is still hungry from yesterday. But let's go over to him and see how he feels like breakfast's gonna go this morning.
And good morning again everyone, my name is Byron and on camera with me is Sebastian. It's great to have you with us. Now hang on a second, what tracks have we got here? We've got some zebra tracks around, we've had hyena tracks already. Now we are also going to try and find these lions. We've heard lions calling, but quite far south. I don't think they're on our property, but we're going to try our best this morning. As I was saying, it's not so cold this morning, it's a lovely morning. Very, very nice morning. And don't forget everyone, we are completely live. So send us your questions. Hashtag Safari Live is how you do it. Via Twitter. Hashtag Safari Live. Questions or comments. We love hearing from all our viewers, and hopefully get through as many of your questions as we possibly can. The voices in my head will give them to me. This morning it's Chantel. She is the voice in my head. So we'll try our best to answer them for you and hopefully find some interesting wildlife. We had a lovely evening drive last night. We had some, Taylor did get a male lion, and we had elephant, and then a beautiful scops owl at the end, which was really, really nice. Always wonderful to find those little owls on Safari Live, because you don't see them often. You hear them a lot, but you don't really see them. So it was really great to see a scops owl last night. Now, while I'm driving, I'm constantly checking the road for any tracks, any signs of predators. Nothing just yet. You know, sometimes I think to myself, I wonder how much we actually miss in the bush, because you know, we can rely on our eyesight, but our eyesight is not very good compared to the animals. And I'm almost certain we miss leopards and lions lying in the long grass, especially this time of year. You can see this beautiful coloration in the grass at the moment. It's beautiful golden brown. And those cats, for them to lie and disappear in long grass, it's not difficult at all. Especially the now. Hope you're all having a wonderful start to the day, or if you're finishing off your weekend, it might be Sunday evening where you are. Hope you had a great weekend. Now have a look here. We've got some impala all around us. Very relaxed impala. I'm just listening to the radio quickly because some of the other guides are out. So it doesn't sound like anyone's found anything just yet. Also, a few guys looking for the lions. That's good, we can maybe help one another. Lovely to see the impala on an early winter's morning, out in the clearing. Morning chorus of the Franklins. Andy, you say relaxed impalas means no cats. Yep. That's probably true, Andy. Probably true. They're all spread out at the moment, these impala. So I don't think there are any predators around here at the moment. You never know, though. You never know. But it's almost like these impala have a sixth sense when it comes to predators being around or close by. Can hear what sounds like an upset grey go-away bird giving their call, a quack, quack. Maybe it's too early for bird calls. Oh, those two are fighting, play fighting, I think. They are young males. Just move behind that bush now. Just two young males testing one another, learning how to fight. That female impala is very light. Do you ever look at on a rump? Now usually the impala have got very dark black markings. Hers aren't that dark. Do you see that? Almost like a light brown, not quite as dark as some of the others. I think just off to the right there's one that's a little bit darker. Have a look at that male. You see how dark he is? Those black markings, very clear black markings on the rump. And that other female, she was not dark at all. Look at that, very, very light. That's interesting. Another female, a bit darker though. You see that? A little bit darker too. Now those black markings, I'm sure some of you know that is the theory behind it is that those darker areas will attract the ticks, so they don't sit around or under the tail rather. So those darker areas, if the ticks sit and are attracted to those areas, then it's easier for the impala to groom themselves and get rid of those ticks. So that's the theory behind those black markings. So they can reach around and they can clean that section of the rump. Now, Eric, you asked if the impala are part of the migratory herd or are they residents. So Eric, where we are at the moment, we are situated in South Africa, in the northeastern part of South Africa, in the greater Kruger. Now we do not have migrations here. So you would have probably seen the migrations up in East Africa where James and Brent and Jamie are and Stefan at the moment. So they are busy watching the migrations, and there they've got different antelope to what we have here. And in those areas, that's where you get the animals moving and migrating, depending on where the food and water is. Now, down here, we don't have the migrations. The impala are resident. They're here throughout the year. And one of the most abundant antelope, if not actually, they are the most abundant antelope in this greater Kruger area. But they are here throughout the year, so they do not migrate. There's always food and water for them. So no animals migrate down here. You might get movements within the areas, within certain areas, depending on where the water is and where the food is, but it's not a migration at all. But up in East Africa, in the Masai Mara, where the other team is at the moment, that's where they have those migrations, and they've been seeing some amazing stuff at the moment. It's really incredible to watch. If you look at how yesterday I saw James was watching topi. Now, we don't have topi down here, type of antelope. Look very similar to a Sabi. And the topi were crossing rivers, and the crocodiles. It's mind-blowing. I've never seen so many crocodiles before. And those crocodiles come down and they pick off one or two of those antelope crossing, or the zebra, or the wildebeest. It's really amazing to see. So, it is a circle of life, but if you have a look at the sheer numbers of those animals, one or two being lost to crocodiles is not a bad thing. But it is amazing to see the amount of predators around there, lions, crocodiles. Very, very fascinating to watch. Kylie, your question is if the impala need salt in their diet. Like some animals do need salt, and if so, where do they get it? Well, Kylie, with a lot of the animals out here, and I haven't really seen the impala doing it. So the impala are mixed feeders. They will browse, which means they'll eat leaves of trees, and they will graze, so they eat grass. So they get a lot of nutrients from the vegetation that they feed on. If animals do need additional nutrients like salt, in this area, what the animals do is something known as geophagia. Now, geophagia is basically the eating of soil, so ground or pieces of termite mound, any soil that may have a high need some form of coprophagia, and then another one is known as osteophagia. Now, the best example of that is with the giraffe. The giraffe do it very often. Now, osteophagia, I'm sure some of you may have guessed already, is when they feed on bone. So they'll go down and feed on carcasses. They pick up bits and pieces of bone, they chew on it, and it's so they can get the phosphorus and the calcium. So another nutrient that is very important for animals like the giraffe that need a lot of calcium for their bones, those massive skeletons that they have, and that's known as osteophagia. Now, Ali apparently has a beautiful sunrise she would like to show you.
It has been a very dramatic sunrise because we've come all the way to the northern part of the property where we're quite high up, so we can see the sun has already come up, but we are also in the burnt area. So it's looking quite stunning with all the black of the ashes of the trees and the grass that's been burnt, and of course the sun in the background that's becoming very beautiful and red. I obviously clearly haven't had enough coffee this morning, so my brain hasn't geared in just yet. And I was laughing this morning because Byron and I are proper coffee partners. I think we both have the biggest flask or travel mugs possible. But look at that. Isn't that worth waking up for? I think it's been a stunning morning so far. Seems like the animals are being a bit skittish this morning. Well, skittish is perhaps not a good word for them, but I think there was a leopard that walked all the way around, so I want to actually see if we can catch it on the other side, because the road that I wanted to check we couldn't, because the guests were still sleeping in, but everyone's out and about. And it seems like the Nkuhumas were found yesterday, but on the Buffelshoek side, roundabout Tamboti Dam. So, who knows, maybe if we carry on driving around here, maybe we'll pick up tracks for them walking in and out somewhere. So it's always a good place to start and check. But Craig and I started this morning. Craig was very optimistic. And we're actually on a pangolin drive today, because we feel like perhaps today is as good a day as any to start looking for one of them. Which would be first prize, no doubt. And I was saying that if we see one, I reckon I'm just going to fall off the vehicle and just die. Be like, oh my god, finally, oh my gosh. Alright. Now, I could also hear ground hornbills in the distance, and I know they've been enjoying this burnt area, so I would really like to see them. And we have suspicions about a certain area that they're looking into, a very big jackalberry tree that they keep being around, that perhaps maybe that's the tree they're going to be looking into for nesting later on during the year, which would be incredible, because they are such interesting birds, such big turkeys. So hopefully they'll stick around, maybe they'll be somewhere around here. And this burn has been quite patchy. I'm also going to pay attention to the road here, just in case I don't miss any potential tracks of any of the cats walking up and down. It's quite devoid of life here, so I wonder if the lions have actually been moving. What's here? Mary, you're wondering if we might see elephants. Well, I certainly hope so. Ellie's, apparently they've been around more in the afternoons. I think yesterday Byron had quite a nice elephant sighting, so maybe we should leave it up to the elephant whisperer to see if maybe he can find one for us. But we're also going to be on the lookout for one of them. I love spending time with big herds of elephants, and the little ones when they come and charge and they put their trunks up and they're just being full of nonsense. It's quite wonderful. No, it seems like we're heading into the mist now. Beautiful. Alright. I actually want to check the boundary, see if maybe they have crossed somewhere else. And we'll have a look around here. Maybe we'll spot something. And again, always the mist. I would love to see a cat just walking in the burnt area with her beautiful golden coat in the light that's coming up. Oh, beautiful. Okay, let's see. Whoop. No tracks around here. Alright, I think maybe if this doesn't work by Tamboti Dam, we're probably going to come down and start looking a bit closer to the lodge, see if perhaps we can pick up on those leopard tracks again. I think maybe that's our plan of action. As Tingana, the man himself, has been a little bit elusive lately. No, those are not tracks. I'm going to send you guys all the way across to the Mara, where James would like to say good morning with a spotted friend.
Good morning everybody, and welcome to the Maasai Mara. I'm in my Mara kit. It's wonderful to have you with us here. My name is James Hendry, and hashtag Safari Live is the way you can ask us any questions. And we also have on camera with us today David Eastor. It's been a very long time since I've spoken with him filming me, and So I'm very excited about that.
James.
Poor old David is, of course, pale white with shock and terror. Now, what we have here is a hyena den. Well, that's not the den, that's a hyena more than the den.
The den.
Yes, there's the den. And when we got here, it was really rather an interesting situation. There's a very small one that is living in that hole in the ground. But surrounding the hyenas were what you can see there, the warthog. And they were living in what can only be described as glorious peace and harmony. And we thought that was a bit concerning. We thought, this is very strange. Do they think that they are one another? Why is it that they live in such close proximity? And we saw another group in exactly the same sort of makeup a little while earlier. And so there seems to be a very, shall we say, heartwarming understanding between the pigs and the hyenas. This is very strange. That was my telephone, in case you heard it, everybody. Siri, on my telephone, decided she thought I was asking her a question, which of course I was not. But you may ask me a question, as I said earlier, on the hashtag Safari Live. If you did hear a sort of loud cackling noise before we came, as we went live, it wasn't David, it wasn't me, it wasn't even one of these hyenas. It was Rebecca Christensen, who was sitting on the back of the car. We're off to a school today to do some filming after we have completed our game drive. There are some very upset crowned lapwings who are very obviously disturbed by the hyena near their nest, I think. There he goes, slinking off into the day. I always find at this time of the day when I find a hyena, often they look like sort of nightclubbers who've just walked out of the club and they're sloping their way home after a heavy night, just exactly like that one's walking now. And they sort of on these paths towards the den sites or close to them, where they're going to rest up for the day before another night of wassailing. Hello, White Lady Erwin. You're wondering if hyenas here dig their own dens in the Mara, or if they also use aardvark holes. I think you will find that they probably modify aardvark holes. This is definitely a termite mound over here that the hyena is in. There are ant nests that look relatively similar but much smaller around here, so I'm pretty sure that's a termite mound. And they're not big and they're not deep because, of course, the water table is that much lower or higher than it would be in a place like Djuma. But hyena are not equipped with the equipment to to dig holes properly, and so what you will find is that must have been originally opened up by an aardvark, probably, possibly a porcupine, but I think probably an aardvark, and then modified by the pigs and possibly the hyenas themselves, because the pigs, of course, live also in holes in the ground. There is the vast expanse of the Masai Mara. You're looking off to the to the south pretty much there, and we're going to head down a little bit further to the south because there seems to be some kind of sighting off to the right hand side of where we're sitting. I'm not sure what it is. I suspect it's a cheetah, so we're going to go and have a look there, and then we will make our way back towards the far east of the Mara. I'm not sure how far we'll get before 10:30, but we will keep you posted. I'm just looking over to the far distance there to see if I can't figure out what it is exactly that they're looking at. Alrighty, shall we drive on? Let's drive on, David. Just a moment. Rebecca, what are you pointing at? His bag. Oh, he dropped his bag. Alright, while we retrieve David's bag, let's head across to Byron, who I believe is looking for something quite astonishing, an animal. I have been bitten by...
I am indeed, James, always. It sounds like you're having a great start to the morning there too, some hyenas. Now, we are in search of predators, lions or leopards, driving very, very slowly. It's a lovely area. And scanning all the termite mounds, having a look for tracks, hoping that we find something this morning. I heard lions calling earlier, as I mentioned, but haven't found anything just yet. Like I said, this time of year, the animals, I think, will blend in very, very well. The camouflage is very good because of the coloration in the bush at the moment. Roshni, you asked how would I describe this winter morning. Roshni, I would say, sorry, I'm listening to the other guides chatting on the radio. It's a, how would I describe it? You know what, Roshni, if you have a look around, it's a beautiful morning, but it's not so cold. Now there's a bit of cloud cover around, and maybe Sebastian will show you now. Now you can see, look at that, that's really beautiful. So I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a balmy morning. I don't think so. Hey, Sebastian, no, I don't think so. It's but it's not nearly as cold as it usually gets. Not as cold as yesterday morning. So it's a lovely temperature actually. Very, very nice temperature. Crisp, fresh. So it's 17 degrees Celsius or about 63 degrees Fahrenheit. So a lovely temperature for a winter morning, isn't that amazing? I know some of my friends that live overseas and a friend of mine that lives in Canada, she says it's very cold and that our winters are warmer than some of their summers on certain days. Especially later today, I'm sure the temperature will get into the mid to high 80s probably, so about mid 20s, 25, 28 degrees Celsius, somewhere around there. I think it's going to be quite warm today, so we're very fortunate with the temperature that we have. Bomber Girl, you asked if I went back and checked on that genet that we found yesterday in the tree. I did drive past there a little bit later, just as it got dark, and I checked with the spotlight. Didn't see anything, so we left. I didn't want to disturb that genet too much, but at least we know that there is a genet hiding in that tree. So maybe someone will get to see it. I told Tristan and Ali where it was. So all of us kind of know where to look. We might still see it at some point. Now, Ali's also still out searching for animals. I wonder how her search is going so far.
Well, I'm sorry to say, Baron, that my search is not going all that well. We haven't come across any more tracks, and it seems like the Nkuhumas carried on walking all the way into Buffalo's Hook. And I think I heard something. What are those, pangolin alarming? I think I wanted to go and check the dam, so we're right here, so let's go have a look quickly at Gowrie Dam, see what's happening around here. And then if not, then we can always try and reverse down here, which is probably going to be a very interesting experience. But no tracks around here, and I don't think any of the guys have gotten any tracks. Some more leopard tracks that have gone also into Bofosuk, but for a female. So I wonder who it could be. Maybe in Chila, or I know they have another quite skittish female that likes to lurk around that area. Seems like Gari Dam is quite quiet. Not too many things happening here that I can see. Just some old tracks. Every now and again I think there's a starling. The Impala in the distance. Sorry, quite far away in front of us. I think maybe slowly they're going to start making their way down to the water for a drink. And you can hear them. Rah! Very quiet. Seems like it's quite a peaceful morning. And it's one of those funny mornings where it started out being quite warm, but as we carry on driving, then it's been getting colder and colder. It seems like the mist is now settling in. So everything's a bit colder than what it actually should. The weather is 62 degrees Fahrenheit and 17 Celsius, as per Chantal. I think today I might agree with it. Not too bad. We've got a lot of clouds up in the sky, so that makes it a bit warmer. And I think yesterday was by far the coldest morning we've had here. I am sure it was minus 200. If Taylor was wearing gloves and as many clothes as me, then we know that it was a very cold morning. Alright, let's carry on. Maybe we just need to swap our ways around. Look for a different area, because maybe the potential presence of a lion or a leopard around this area has chased everyone else off. And let's go look for elephants. Yes, elephants would be so nice to find. Now, let's see. Now, if you're looking in front of us, and I know a lot of people have quite an interest in conservation. So if you see all this in front, so this is old trees that came from when they created that new road, and we use them again to, well, what's called to brush pack. So if you see, or if you manage to see the cracks on the land underneath the bushes, it's just pretty much to prevent the erosion from going forward. And if it were to start raining or a lot of wind, then all of these little soil particles, they start being flown away, and then the road keeps eroding and keeps eroding and keeps eroding. So this is a way of preventing that from happening. And normally you choose trees that are very, very straight, that have a very straight stem, just to be able to pack all of this around so that it doesn't carry on with the normal natural damage that the erosion is causing. And I think this was largely due to Rex, who's looking after the roads. So thank you, Rexon. I think he's done a very good job around here. Probably we're not going to be losing this road anytime soon. Alright, I see the beautiful golden light starting to come around. And let's see, new road. Hopefully, potentially new tracks for something else around here, although I can't really see much. I think hyenas have been quite active during the night, although after yesterday's commotion, they weren't as vocal. I don't know, did you hear them in the staff camp yesterday, Craig? They seem to have a bad habit of coming in, but I think last night everyone was quite quiet and well behaved. So they weren't all around us. Very quiet. I am still hoping one day to gaze in the distance and see a leopard on top of a marula. Mary, you're wondering any word about the hyena and lion incident yesterday? Well, I couldn't speak to the actual guys that were in that sighting, but the reports that I got from some of the other guys, because I did ask them yesterday, they said that one of the guys got very excited on the radio, and excited not because he was happy that was happening, but because it was such an incredible sighting and something he wasn't expecting, that apparently, yes, the lions did kill one of the hyenas. Which one, or what sex, or what age, I'm not too sure. Apparently it was not one that wasn't too old, but that was all the information that I got, and it's just a report of what was heard on the radio. Because unfortunately some of the guys that heard it on the radio, I couldn't hear them. Alright, seems like James is having all the spotted luck, and I think we're going to be quite lucky with the Mara this morning. So let's go over to him and meet new friends, I think.
We are having quite a lot of luck this morning, everybody. There we have got some cheetah, two cheetah. Now, if you were with me not yesterday, how do we say the thing last week? If you were with me last week on Monday, we were with these very same cheetah in the tree line beyond there that you can see on your screen. And they were hunting around. I didn't know if they were males or females. They looked like youngsters to me, but I suspect they're two young males. I could be quite wrong, but that's what we have here. And we're not far from Governor's Camp, which is on the river there. Anyway, very nice to see them here. There are some tombstones gazelle have been wandering around here, sort of unaware, but I must say I think those cheetah look like they've eaten rather well in the last little while, so I'm not entirely sure how much feeding they're going to be doing or chasing across these plains. And I'm sure you're all very excited to see cheetah. I am always excited to see cheetah. I think they are fantastic animals, mainly because I haven't spent a huge amount of time with them. And I don't know if you managed to catch the TV show that we had on Friday. We'll be having it again on Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Nat Geo Wild. I have to be able to say that very smoothly, you see, so I need to practice it. And there's a coalition of 5 male cheetah that Scott has been spending quite a lot of time with. They killed 2 wildebeest the day before the TV show, and unfortunately they didn't kill anything on the TV show, but they're a formidable group that live quite a long way to the east of where we are now. We'll be going through their territory during the course of the morning. Maybe we'll be lucky to see them. He's quite itchy there, isn't he, David? Shame. I've often wanted to be able to scratch myself with my back foot, but I've been thus far unable to do so. I suppose at my advanced age, it's unlikely to happen. Louise says I could just stretch more, but I think that I'm not sure that Louise understands the coming of age. She's still a youngster. Anyway, another beautiful scene. Interestingly, this is one of the very few mornings that it has dawned cloudy and then remained so. And I wonder if we're not going to have a bit more rain. We had a lot of rain yesterday. That's why we weren't out in the vehicle. We could only use the river cameras. Huge dumping of rain in the afternoon and a bit at night. Hello, John. You say that cheetahs thing favourite about Monday morning. Do they, David? In fact, on our way here, we gave a lift to about 74 small school children, and, well, I felt very sorry for them because I remembered my Monday, how much I disliked them. Now, David, I'm going to ask you to swing your camera around to the left here. Unfortunately, the picture I was trying to provide for you is now going to be sullied by a vehicle. But they're not Thompson's gazelles, they're Grant's gazelles there, which is quite special. Good morning. Hello. Alrighty, well, there are some Grant's gazelles. We will watch and see if the cheetah try and eat them. I don't think they're going to at the moment. We'll sit here for a little bit longer before we move on. While we do that, I believe that Byron has found a mark in the sand.
Alright, now everyone, I've just found a wonderful track that I'd like to show you. Very, very beautiful track. But have a look, because it's quite interesting and it can be a bit confusing sometimes. If I go down here and show you, let me show you this one. Can you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 toes and a pad over there. Do you see that? Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, that looks like a leopard track. It's not actually. So have a look at this pad to the back here. And there you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4 toes. There's actually another little toe over there, the back pad, and look at that back pad around there. Now this is my favorite animal, a honey badger. Now this is quite a big honey badger. If you look at the size of that track, it's from there to there. It's quite a big track, a beautiful big honey badger track, but it's so clear with this little back pad over there, as well as the middle pad, and then the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toes. You can just see a faint toe there and a claw mark. But wonderful honey badger track. And this was from last night, unfortunately, maybe early this morning. But it would be amazing to find this honey badger, and there are always honey badger tracks in this area. So, and last time I actually saw honey badger was around here. So graceful. Yeah. It's too early. But anyway, nice to see a honey badger, or honey badger track at least. Now, while we were standing here, Sebastian and I heard lions, and they're not far from us. They're not far from us at all. Unfortunately, I think they are just south of our boundary. Now let's just go have a look. But there a number of lions were calling. We thought we heard at least three different lions calling, and really not far from us. So I might just hang around this area a little bit, and hopefully these lions decide to come this way. That would be great. Now, Horde, you asked how far a male lion would travel in a day. Well, I've tracked lions before where I've seen them traveling up to 5 or 10 kilometers in a day easily, or in a night, never mind an entire day. In a night they can cover huge distances depending on their territory, how big the territory is. I think there's a little Steinbach just running. Have a look at that. Oh, there are two of them. There's just one in front of us. There was another one behind it. There we go. It's the male. The male and the other one look like the female. Remember, we've been discussing before how the Steinbach are often in pairs, male and female together. Beautiful little antelope, aren't they? So the lions can cover huge distances if they want to, depending on the size of the territory, depending on competition, food, water. All of those will come into consideration, and will then depend how far they walk. Look, that male's, it looks like he's interested in mating with the female. We might get a glimpse of a vehicle driving past quickly. There we go, thanks Seb. And I think they chased the Steinbach off, unfortunately. We'll see if we can see them again. Close to the Gowrie main road. So there are often a few vehicles driving past. But now, so these lions, when I say they sounded close, the sound of the lion roar can be heard from quite a distance. I mean, sometimes on clear days, especially winter days, you can hear a lion roar from 10 kilometers away. Definitely, without a doubt. Now, these sounded closer though. I would say they're probably 300 or 400 meters down in this direction, in this area. Somewhere here. But I don't know where or which direction they are moving. I'm hoping they decide to come this way. I'm hoping they decide to call again. But I think we should just hang around here a little bit and see. Maybe we get lucky and they decide to appear out on this side. Can be a little frustrating at times when we know these animals are close, but we just can't get there. But that's the way it is. So excited about these honey badger tracks. These honey badger tracks all over the road here. So it's clearly been moving around here, looking for food, foraging during the evening. Oh, I want to see one so badly again. Oh, there's lovely honey badger tracks again. Chitty Chatty Meg, you asked, what is a honey badger? Is it like a ferret? No, not at all. Not at all, Meg. Let me get my book out for you and let me jump out quickly. Oh, sorry. That's a nice sign on that track. Sorry, let me show you again. Sebastian, I'm not doing very well this morning, am I? Hold on a second. Which track are you on there, Seb? This one. That one, there we go. Yeah, so here you can see this track very clearly. There's that back pad again. This is a smaller honey badger, it appears to be. Doesn't look like it's that same one that the track that I saw at the back there. Possibly 2 or 3 of them in the area. You sometimes find them in pairs, but it actually does look like the 2 honey badger that walked here, because there's a track going this way, and then actually, Seb, if you have a look over here, here's a very nice clear track over here. Now this looks like that bigger one that I saw. There's that back pad, the middle pad, and the 5 toes around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Very nice track. The honey badger. Now, Meg, you asked what the honey badger looks like, or what the honey badger is. So the honey badger is they are part of a family called, now let me get this right, family called Mustelidae. These scientific names. What's the taxonomy? So basically, taxonomy is the naming of the animals and how they are classified. So honey badger fall under a group called Mustelidae, and that's a honey badger right there. Have a look at that. Now, that is my favorite animal, the honey badger. They're not afraid of anything. They're incredibly tenacious, very tough little creatures, and they are incredible. Give me a second, I just want to move out the way. Sorry, there's a car approaching. So that's basically what a honey badger is. And Meg, sorry, so you can see those very sharp claws of the honey badger. They dig very, very well when they're looking for food. They'll dig up beehives and that when they are looking for food. But beautiful animals, amazing animals. Right, well, I'm going to sit here a little bit longer and see if those lions call again. Sorry, Ali managed to find some more Steinbach to show you.
We did, and it's been so obliging and happy to be on camera that we are afraid to move or look at it directly just in case it runs away. They're normally quite shy little creatures, and in this particular case we're looking at a female, and we can tell it's a female by the lack of horns. Now, at this time of the year they start also doing their courtship rituals and just keeping good bonds and social relationships, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's another male that's around here, because they're normally found in pairs. But she's looking so pretty this morning. Very nice big tummy, her coat is all fluffed up, trying to keep warm, and look at that pretty face. Oh, you're actually a boy. You have horns. Well, scratch everything that I said, then this is a young male with tiny little horns that's just started erupting, which I couldn't see from where we are. Huh. Well, you have fooled me entirely. So maybe there's a female somewhere around here. Perhaps that's why you're being very brave. You're still a young boy. Bit of a rebel. Now, they're called Steinbach because, well, a buck is everything that looks like a deer, and Stien and Chantal can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's that reddish color that they have on their coat. So it's pretty much like calling them a tiny little brick-colored buck. What was that? Huh. Yes, Chantal agrees. Her Afrikaans is far better than mine. So I'm very happy I'm not making up stories. But I love how tiny they are in their little ears. And funny enough, I was on a bushwalk once or some of my friends actually were on a bushwalk once, and they came back, and the best story that they could tell from the bushwalk, besides every encounter that they had on foot, was how the ranger nearly stepped on a baby Steinbach, as it was hiding amongst the bushes, just sitting very, very still, so that it's not detected by anything, and he was about to step on it, because clearly didn't see it, and then his tracker pulled him back. Hey! What you doing? So they can be quite small when they're born. I'm so surprised that this one hasn't run away. I think this is the friendliest Steinbach I've ever seen. Jess, so you're wondering how long do Steinbachs live? Well, being a small creature and with so many predators around, I would assume that at most they can live up to 10 years, but I think probably on average we'll put the number at 6, 7. I don't think they managed to survive for a lot longer. Because imagine there are all sorts of things that are after them. Not our usual suspects, like the leopards and the perhaps even a young lion, and of course the servals, the caracals, the wildcats, but also pythons, big eagles, martial eagles, tawny eagles. All of them will come for a little Steinbach, so lots of things after them. I feel like I almost need to jump off and go say thank you, because he's been so friendly. James, you say that this is a healthy looking Steinbach. It is. It is looking so good, which proves that they are able to find food even in times of stress like this one. And they often go and they start digging up for roots and berries and shoots and things underneath the ground. So I wouldn't be surprised that that's actually been the main source of diet, because the grass is pretty much all yellow and dead all around, so it's not as nutritious as it should be. And I think also it's looking a bit fatter than what it should be because it's got all its hair fluffed up, because it's still quite cold this morning, and it's just adding that extra layer of protection, or well, not protection, of warmth rather. This is the longest Steinbach sighting I have ever had. Naomi, you're wondering if it's true that they mate for life. It is true, or at least it's widely believed that they do pair for life until one of the pairs or the mates die, and then only then will they start looking for another mate. So they're one of those wonderful loyal creatures out here in the bush, and I believe there's another species very similar to this one that's called the duiker, also a small antelope, but it's gray in color, that also pairs for life. And I feel like that's such a romantic notion for all the creatures out here in the bush, because life can be so harsh out there. Some of the best love stories. No, I'm getting all romantic and Craig is laughing at me. Alright. I think he's been super friendly. Ali, you're wondering where they sleep. Well, normally they will find very hidden places in the grass where the grass is very tall, and they tuck themselves up, and that's where they sleep, or underneath the bushes where it's nice and warm. So pretty much out in the open. Right, I think he's been super friendly to us, and Treehouse Dam is not too far from here. What was that? Lion. It sounded like lion, but from... Alright, I think we can also hear lions unless we are going absolutely crazy. Yeah, so let's turn around and go over to Twin Dams. Maybe for once. Craig and I were complaining today about the lions. We always see them cross south. When are we going to see them cross north? It seems like Byron and I are probably close to each other because he can also hear the lions. So let's go over to him, and hopefully he'll be closer to them than what we are.
I'm not sure exactly where Ali is now, but I can hear these lions. Now, they actually sounded a little bit further. One called now in that direction. But when we stopped earlier, there were some that returned a call directly south of where we are, but still quite far from where we are at the moment. But it is exciting. I'm hoping they decide to move this way. Don't know if they will though. I really enjoy just sitting in the bush like this quietly for a while and listening, because so much is happening, especially now early in the morning, these winter mornings when it is a lot cooler. And it's starting to warm up a little bit, and then a lot of animals start getting quite active. A lot of predators, when it's cold in the morning, they tend to rest or lie down a bit and then move around a little bit later. So this is a perfect time for them to start moving around. Let's carry on, shall we, Sebastian? Let's have a look. Michael, you asked if certain bird species are more active in winter than summer. Michael, hold on a second. Sorry, Michael, I'll get back to your question now. Go ahead, Ellie. I'm approaching Weaver's. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the names now. I'm on Gary Main approaching Shabamu. Yeah, FM, they're south in Little Gary. I'm going to hang around and just see if we get any sign of them too. Sorry, Michael, getting back to your question about birds, and if there are species of birds that are more active in the winter than they are in the summer. Now, not really, Michael, not that I have seen. I think generally the bird species are more active in summer because it's an ideal time for breeding. There's a lot more food around for the birds. We get a lot of migratory species coming back for the summer. So winter there are still birds around, but I wouldn't say that the activity increases at all in certain species in the winter months. Not that I've seen. There's a lone wildebeest just through there. I wonder if the wildebeest knows where these lions are. I'm just listening at the moment, everyone. There's definitely a lot going on. I thought I heard an alarm call. It's a beautiful morning. This is really probably one of my favorite times of the day. These winter mornings, a lot of birds calling, the white-browed scrub robins. There's Cape turtle doves. Now, come on, I want these lions to call again. I'm hoping that then maybe you can hear them. Fork-tailed drongos flying around. There's a hornbill or two. Nice to see this lone wildebeest though. Quite a brave wildebeest. Now, speaking of the wildebeest, Commander Bond has managed to find loads of wildebeest and some topi. Let's go have a look.
we have indeed managed to find some wildebeest. There are the wildebeest. There are some zebra there. We have topi lecking on a termite mound. So those are probably bulls that are demonstrating for laties, and those laties there will then make their choice depending on who stands on in the most impressive fashion. Alternatively, they could just be looking for lions, but I think that is part of their lecking behaviour. It's very peaceful lecking, though. It's not particularly exuberant displays. How often do you use the word exuberant when your daily talk, David? Not very often. No. It is quite a nice grouping, though, isn't it? Despite its lack of exuberance. So these, everybody, now, I mean, there's some facts, of course, that we give almost universally when we see certain creatures, and that's normally because we don't know anything else about them. And so when I say things like, oh, there's a Corey bustard, it's the world's heaviest flying bird, you're allowed to slap me over the back of the head and say, tell me something, tell me something I don't know. So when I say the same fact for the topi is, oh, everybody, there's some topi, the fastest antelope in the world. You're allowed to slap me on the back of the head and say, why don't you learn something else about them? Which I think is perfectly valid and relevant. Now, they are a subspecies of the Sabi. And the Sabi, you might describe the Sabi as a subspecies of them, I suppose. But they are found throughout Eastern Africa and down into Southern Africa. And in Botswana you get the Sabi, which looks slightly different from that. I'm just going to get out my book and see if I don't have a very good picture of the differences between the Sabi and the topi. Now, I believe that there have been some black screen dips and things, and I do apologise for that. I will take it up with Rasputin on my return home. He'll just probably stare at me and I'll wither visibly and then head back into my own tent. So, what they are is part of the genus Damaluscus. It's quite a nice word to say at this time of the morning. Damaluscus, which includes the Blesbok and the Bontebok, none of which we'll get here. You only get them in Southern Africa. And then the topi, tiang, and Sabi are the same species, Damaluscus lunatus, which sounds like a mad Damaluscus, which I quite like. And so the lunatic Damaluscuses are the topi, of course. Then we get the Sabi, which you can see looks almost identical. It's just got slightly different horns. And the tiang, I don't know if we've got a tongue on the to be found in Ethiopia. And in fact, although they've got three there are 7 different subspecies of the topi, tiang, or Sabi, the lunatic Damaluscus. And the nominate species, in other words, the one that nominate subspecies, is the one that we get down in South Africa. This one is the blue one, and it is called Damaluscus lunatus Djuma. I don't know what that means. Right, we're going to leave those topi further before we link. We're going to go across there. You see what we have over there, David? Some elephants, exactly. But someone who has got elephants slightly closer by is Ali.
We have, although they are walking away. So I'm just going to try and drive a bit closer to them. It seems like this is a half-trunk herd, and there's a big bull trailing them. So I wonder if perhaps our good old friend is not actually coming into heat, into estrus, and that's why this bull is definitely trailing. And it's quite a nice bull elephant. He just walked past next to the vehicle a few moments ago in order to try and get to them. So I'm hoping that they're not going to veer off the road. But how does this finally see elephants? I'm super happy because, like I said, we haven't been seeing, or I at least haven't seen too many elephants. So I'm happy that they were around, and I know Byron is pretty much in the area where we heard them. Now, where are you guys going? It's funny, every time I've seen this particular female elephant around males, because I've seen males around her a few times, she's not happy with them at all. She's always pushing them away, but this male is quite a gentle giant. He seems quite persistent. I think they might come onto the road once more. So I'm just gonna stop here because they're gonna pop out in front of us. All 5 of them. Sorry, Craig. Just giving them enough space. There we go. So there she is, with her 3 youngsters trailing behind her. We've got all sorts of sizes walking on the road. And then I'm just going to wait for the big bull to come around so we can have a nice size comparison with all of them. And he looks quite impressive. Especially when he walks next to you and you realize just how tiny you are as a human. There we go. Much, much bigger than all of them, isn't he? Beautiful, and he's got that gait. Wherever the female goes, I will go. That swagger that male elephants have. Alright, cool. Let's carry on following them, see where they go. I had some hope that they were going to go down to the Molowati, perhaps to start digging to drink, but seems like they have other plans, so let's stick with them and see where they go. Perhaps they'll go all the way to Yatela Dam. Yeah, fingers crossed. Alright, guys. Ooh, you guys are so pretty. Very happy to see elephants. Alright, I just want to see where they go because the road splits and they're kind of in the middle, so I want to choose the best option, the best viewing option. I think perhaps this one. I think everyone's quite impressed about the size of this. Now I really want to try and get a little bit closer to all of them so we can appreciate just how different the size is for all of these elephants. Now the half-trunk female is slightly smaller than a normal or an average female elephant, and it's probably due to the fact that she's only got half a trunk, so I'm sure that it's somehow gotten in the way of her being able to feed properly. But having said that, she's got 3 youngsters trailing her. I don't think she's doing bad in life at all. Alright, let me try and sneak past all of them. You are a massive bull. It's very humbling to be so close to such big creatures. Alright. Don't go into the drainage line, girl, please. Alright, I'm just gonna go a bit forward. See if maybe we can get them, all of them, walking in a line. Okay, Craig, what do you say here? Maybe this will be the best thing, because he is still keeping a bit of a distance, because the females, if they're not ready to mate, they can be quite grumpy towards the males, so I think she's still not 100% happy to have him around. And I know this is not an ideal spot, but it's the most open spot that I can see for now. Hello? So clearly some distress around her temporal glands. Oh, there it is. So I wonder, maybe she hasn't really enjoyed the company of the male. And all of her family trailing behind her. Little trunk up, smelling everything around. And it is quite funny, we've got all the different sizes for all her offspring. And then of course, this beautiful male is gonna come into sight soon enough. Just hiding behind the tree now. There we go. He walks in a very gracious manner, doesn't he? Also very regal in his own way. He will follow wherever they go. He's very determined. He's definitely smelling. Beautiful. It's almost as tall as the trees. Alright, I think let me go forward a little bit more. They're steadily heading north. So there is a very good chance that they are going to make their way all the way to Gowrie Dam. It's still quite far from here, but who knows, maybe we'll get lucky. Ginger, you're wondering, how does a female elephant let a bull know that she's ready? Well, their estrus cycle can last about a month, I think. And they will constantly be putting out pheromones and just olfactory cues that will be present in the environment. So if there's a bull around, likely he'll be able to pick that scent up and find and figure out that there's a female that's coming into heat, or that's a female that's receptive and probably ready to mate. And then he will start trying to find that female, because males are pretty much driven by the sexual factor and wanting to mate, to be able to spread their genes and make sure that their offspring are the ones that last around here. But also, the female's estrus cycle will last so long so that she can attract different males onto the area and just be able to have her pick or the best genes. And normally, if there is more than one male, you'll see that they'll start fighting, pushing each other. And particularly if there's a male that's in must, then you'll see he'll try to push everyone away so that it gets the best mating opportunities. Beautiful. And they're all going, not stopping. Chitty Chatty Man, you're wondering if they can get pregnant if they still have a young baby. Yes, this youngster, I would say, is just about 2 years old, so it's the right time for this female to go back into heat, because remember, their gestation period is about 2 years. It's about 22 months. So the youngster is going to have at least another 2 years of being the young one and be very much looked after by the mother. So likely just the milk production will wane a little bit for the next 2 years or so, until the next calf comes along. Alright, let's carry on. Seems like James has found pretty much all of the antelope in the Mara, so let's go over to him while we follow these animals and see where they go.
Well, it's the same group of animals we had earlier. Well, same kind. They're topi, but it's a much bigger group, a much bigger herd. And our movement quite fast towards the south and east was arrested by the fact that they were running at some speed towards this area. Then they stopped, and we had a wonderful time viewing a whole group of zebra and wildebeest also on the run. And they are off to the left-hand side of us, being followed by some warthogs, interestingly. The warties, of course, are not great migrators. Should we have a look at them? Yes. James, you want to know what the biggest behavioural difference is between Coke's hartebeest and topi. James, once again, I'm forced to say to myself two things. Firstly, A, I'm astounded that you thought I would know that, and then B, I've got no idea. I'm afraid I have spent nowhere near enough time around them to know, what the major differences would be from a behavioural point of view. I suspect it's probably the fact that Coke's hartebeest, if I'm not mistaken, do not engage in the same lecking behaviour that topi do. I suppose that would be the major one if I was to pick one. But they may, in various parts, leck. Topi don't do it everywhere. They only do it in certain areas, like this one that we're in now. The Coax hartebeest, of course, is not the same genus, so they're the same family as the taupe, but they are not from the same genus. I'm just having a look now to see if there isn't something very obvious. No, they do seem to be doing...
They're running again.
Yeah. Oh, we've got some running going on. So while you watch this marvellous scene of migrating animals, I will tell you that, yes, there is, in fact, the hartebeest do, in some areas, display lecking behaviour. But they're also quite territorial. Oh, it's quite interesting. But no, I suspect it's the lecking thing that is most different. They fight with each other rather than display, the hartebeest do. And interestingly, the females also have, hierarchies. That's quite interesting. That's not common in antelope. But if you're wondering if the rain is going to bring the migrating herds more quickly, definitely. I mean, that is what we think drives the migrating herds to move the distances and places that they do. We think it is rain that does that. Where these chaps are going, I don't know. They are heading down towards the main crossing points at the river, so, Steph will be in the migration control room fairly soon, and I imagine he will keep an eye on whether or not they're crossed. That's not a particularly big group, though. Half down. A flap of ours has come loose, so I do apologise for that. We'll have to get it fixed back up. Wasn't that lovely? Just gives you such a sense of find watching something like that. All right, let us head across to Baron, who's managed to find an antelope that is not renowned for its great...
All right, we have indeed, James. We managed to find a few kudu bulls, in fact. Now, I heard Taylor referred to them as the ghost of the bush yesterday, the ghosts of the bush, and I must admit it's the first time I've ever heard that term, kudu being referred to as the ghosts of the bush. I'm actually going to ask Taylor about that, where it comes from, because I haven't heard it before. We heard the lions again. They seem to be moving further away from us, though. They're not moving in this direction. It doesn't sound like it. Beautiful to see these kudu bulls browsing away. Now, John, you asked why are some male animals called bulls and some are called bucks. Well, the term buck is, if I'm not mistaken, is used for male deer. It's not used for antelope. So the buck is often the deer, or I think it's mainly deer where they refer to the male as a buck. So I don't know where. It's purely from my understanding, it's because those are deer, so different to antelope. And we know the antelope don't shed their horns grow throughout their lifetime, whereas deer shed their antlers annually. But the term buck, I know, is, if I'm not mistaken, it's an American term for the male deer, and European, I suppose. But with antelope species, it's either a bull for the larger antelope, and the smaller antelope, they are known as rams. So anything from an Inyala down, so anything size-wise from an Inyala down, they are known as rams. Then the Inyala male is known as a bull, and anything bigger than an Inyala is a bull. So kudu, wildebeest. Oh, there's a beautiful kudu bull there. Look at him. But the smaller antelope are all rams, and the larger antelope are all bulls. And then also with the females, the smaller antelope are known as ewes, and the larger antelope are known as cows. And that split is actually with the Inyalas. So the Inyala is kind of middle of the range, and the Inyala males are known as bulls, but the females are known as ewes. So anything smaller than an Inyala, the males are rams and the females are ewes. And anything bigger than an Inyala, the males are bulls and the females are cows. But the term buck is mainly used for deer, if I'm not mistaken. It's not used for antelope. I can hear a pearl-spotted owl calling. I wonder if we can find this little owl. Let's go see. Maybe we can. Actually, it doesn't sound too far. Let me see if I can find this owl for us. Raz, you asked, is there any benefit for the kudu having these spiral horns? Well, not necessarily. I think for one thing is obviously the larger the horns, the better display they have to attract a mate. And then also to defend themselves, they can fight and use those big horns. Alright, now little owl, where are you? To find these little pearl-spotted owls is not always easy. I've got a feeling I know where he is though. Let's see. While I look for that, just getting back to a question we were chatting about the honey badgers earlier, and being my favorite animal and the family it belongs to. And then Chitty Chatty Meg, you asked about the badgers and what are they, and are they like a weasel? Now, technically they're not, but they are related to weasels. Now, sorry, you asked a ferret, not weasel, ferrets. Now, we don't have ferrets here, but we do have weasels and polecats, and the honey badger falls under that same family, Mustelidae, and so do the ferrets. So ferrets do fall under Mustelidae, so they are basically distant cousins, I suppose you could call it. Now let me see, I'm looking. So Chitty Chatty Meg, the ferrets are kind of related to the honey badgers, but they're quite different. They're very different. Must be foot structure and all of that, digestive system, that's how they start classifying these animals and putting them into families. Okay, I'm going to give one whistle and see if this owl replies to me, or decides to show his face. Let's see. Oh, this is always so embarrassing because it never works. It was close by here. It was somewhere here. I'd love to find this little owl for you. We were lucky yesterday. We found the Scops owl. Maybe the pearl-spotted owl is sitting in one of these trees somewhere around here. I'm sure he is because he sounded quite close. Not even remotely interested in returning the call. No, I cannot see anything, but he sounded somewhere around here. It wasn't very far. I'm sure it's in here, but as you know, they are very small birds. These owls are very tiny, and they hide extremely well in the trees, especially now this dry vegetation. The camouflage is brilliant, and they're only about the size of my hand, not very big, maybe even a little bit smaller. Alright, well, sounds like nothing is returning our calls or coming out to show itself. But let's head over to Ali and find out how her morning's going. She sounds like she's not having a lot of fun just yet, or hasn't found much. Let's go see.
Well, unfortunately, the elephants, they were steadily heading into the direction of the dam, so our hopes were getting up, but I think the female did not like that bull following and trailing too much, so she actually did pretty much a complete turn and then started walking back down, and she's gone now into the drainage line close to the dam, so it's very hard to follow them in there. It's very thick in there, and I don't particularly want to be following grumpy elephants in a very thick bush, because then you bump into them and they're not happy already. So I think hopefully the gremlins will stay away from us, and we want to come and check around the Molawati, see if perhaps there are any leopards hiding around here. And of course I'm talking about the royals, because they like this area. So hopefully gremlins will stay away, and we'll be able to spot something on this particular patch. I still have hope that some of the cats are going to turn up. Alright, seems like Byron is in a gremlin-free zone, so we're going to explore around here, see if maybe we can find anything. But while we do that, let's head over to Byron and avoid all gremlins.
Gremlin-free. Yes, indeed, Ellie. Well, good luck. Hopefully Ellie has some luck with those elephants. Maybe she'll find them popping out somewhere. We haven't had much luck with anything else yet. Oh, I wonder, should we have a look maybe? That tree where I saw the genet yesterday is just up ahead here. Maybe we catch a glimpse of that genet hiding in the tree. Let's see. It was very exciting yesterday, finding that genet in this tree. So it was just in this dead tree over here. Oh, it is, isn't it? I caught a glimpse of him. It is. Maybe if you check the upper hole, you might see it, but it is definitely in there. I caught a glimpse of the tail. It did move inside there. Oh, it's very dark in there now, but it moved higher up. I wonder, Seb, if we try that hole a little bit higher. There we go. I wonder if we'll get a glimpse of it in there. I don't think so. It's so dark, but it is definitely in there, everyone. So it's safe to say this genet definitely lives in this tree, and some of you were asking yesterday, do the genets use the same trees? Well, they clearly do. So this genet, this is the home of the genet, and I did catch a glimpse of it move as we pulled up. I just saw the tail moving up. So what it's done is it's actually, and it's amazing, I wonder, this tree's obviously then completely hollow in that section.